Hey folks, happy Saturday morning rant. I think y'all know what the fuck I want to talk about today. I haven't done a rant in a couple of weeks. I know I said I'm going to do these fucking rants regularly, but I got to get pissed the fuck off about something. So everybody keeps texting me like, yo, what do you think about the new appointee to the Department of Corrections, Stanley Richards, formerly incarcerated person? I think people are asking me because at the beginning of my career, when I came out of prison, I realized that the movement to help formerly incarcerated people was not led by formerly incarcerated people. Formerly incarcerated people had no resources, no organization, no leadership. There was maybe 7 or 8 formerly incarcerated people around the country that were trying to emerge into leadership on this issue. And I made a statement publicly over and over that people closest to the problem are closest to the solution, but furthest from power and resources. And I think people see the appointment of Stanley Richards by our progressive mayor as a step in the right direction. Maybe. The rest of them, I'm going to try to contextualize them, but I'm going to try to get through them so you understand where the fuck I'm coming from. Sometimes people closest to the problem are the fucking problem. I worked at the Fortune Society for 6.5 years, and the first thing I'll say, which is what everyone will say about Stanley Richards, is that he is a nice guy. If I had $1 for every time I brought up his name and someone said he's a nice guy, I'd be fucking rich. I am fucking rich, but I'd be richer. The idea is this. Stanley worked there for many decades. I worked there for 6.5 years. And the thing I picked up on at the Fortune Society is this, that while the thing that works at Fortune is that the majority of the staff is formerly incarcerated and they're amazing fucking people doing amazing fucking work. And then there are other people there who are not formerly incarcerated that similarly are doing amazing work. So when you get to the level of staff, mid-level staff, direct services staff, knocks it out the fucking park. Do the programs work? I don't know. They don't do any research. The data they collect is all in-house. It's hard to tell whether or not the programs actually work. But what works anyway, like if you ask a person what really worked for you to get your life together, they don't say it was a fucking urinalysis or a treatment program. They say it was a person. And so I'd say at Fortune, the thing that works is that there's people there doing amazing fucking work. But everyone who also has ever worked there, particularly up until a few years ago, I haven't been around them for a long time, is that only 3 people ran that place. I don't give a fuck how many people was in leadership. Joanne Page, Sherry Goldstein, and Stanley Richards ran the place. And they'd have these meetings with all staff. I was there at the time, and they would be so rehearsed, right? It would be like, Joanne Page is someone who has created a whole fucking parade of black people and brown people who used to work for her, who she comes after like a fucking bulldozer, like a fucking assassin. She no longer works there. Stanley runs the place great, but he definitely was there while she was targeting these black and brown people. And at the very best, he was quiet while it happened. And at the very worst, he had something to do with a lot of those people having their careers essentially demolished. I saw people get derailed for years in their fucking career after leaving that place, because once you left her employ, she would do everything she can to disparage people who she saw as disobedient black and brown people. So that brings us to Stanley. How did he last there for a few decades? He's much more obedient. He's much more obedient. The times in life where you need to speak the fuck up are the times where you are in personal and professional fucking jeopardy. And I would argue he's never done that. In those large meetings they would have with all staff, he'd be marched out as the black, tall, bald, formerly incarcerated guy who would sign off on all the fuckery that Joanne would do at that place and all the fucking harm that that woman was causing at that place. I don't think that when you invite a slave into the house that you choose Nat Turner. I think you choose the one that you think is most obedient, that is not gonna rock the boat. You might say, well, how the fuck do you know that? He hasn't even been in the role yet. First of all, I wish him success. And I'll tell you what I hope he accomplishes before I finish this fucking rant. I wish him success. But let's not act as if there's not a fucking body of work here to draw from. Stanley Richards has been on the Board of Correction for fucking years. What does that mean? It means that motherfucker carries a fucking badge. He carries a badge. That badge allows him full and unfettered access to any jail in New York City without even fucking giving corrections a heads up that he's gonna visit. It allows him access to a tremendous amount of data. So where's the body of work from him being in that role? Where is him rocking the boat? Where is him in the media? Where is him on New York One? Where is him on CNN? Where is him insisting that we can't spend $500,000 per bed per year to run a place like Rikers and have so many fucking deaths at Rikers each single year? Am I here to demonize correction officers? Not really. They're fucking assholes, many of them, but at the same time, many of them are like one step away from being locked the fuck up themselves. Like, they just happen to be the ones who took the fucking test. When I was at Rikers years ago, one of the correction officers who worked my fucking unit was a guy that I committed an armed robbery with a year before that, before I ended up locked up, and he ended up in corrections, and I ended up on the other side of the cell. So for me, it's not about demonizing correction officers. They work in a fucked up environment on an island that was purchased from a guy who used to take free black young men, bring them to his court, and then send them back to the slave-holding South, Richard Riker. And it is just, it's a place that is inherently terrible. People are like, well, Glenn, you know, just because you move people into borough-based jails, you won't have different outcomes. First of all, the data suggests the opposite, that the borough-based jails actually do have less violence. Second of all, when I was at Rikers, there were 22,000 fucking people there. During COVID, there was less than 4,000 people there on a given day. How the fuck do you think we got there? Stop asking me what the fuck do you do with the people at Rikers. You just put more people into community-based opportunities, whether it's treatment, mental health, housing, education, employment, you name it. Like, ironically, the type of stuff that Fortune offers up to formerly incarcerated people, that's the kind of shit you probably want to take to scale, although I would argue that you need to measure impact and make sure it actually fucking works. But I will never forget when I launched a campaign to close Rikers and put my entire fucking career in jeopardy, because I left Fortune knowing that I was not on a trajectory to run that place because I had too much shit to say, and they never fucking liked the fact that I was questioning everything, including how much fucking money I made and others made compared to people on the front staff. I couldn't believe Joanne would say over and over that formerly incarcerated people can't get paid a lot because we want to make sure that they can turn around and get a job somewhere else. No, bitch. You want to make sure that they can be stuck in your employ because you're paying them just enough to get by and you're convincing them that there's no place else that they can work. So that's the environment in which Stanley grew up, became a professional, you know, gained all of these accolades, and then increasingly under various mayors gets appointed into positions that have catapulted him into the one that he's currently in. So do I wish him the best? Yes. Would they appoint me into one of those positions? Fucking no. You know why? Because I would drown that agency in the fucking bathtub. Rikers Island would be closed soon as fucking possible. And stop asking me, what do you do with the people? Because you have borough-based jails. Essentially, they're rebuilding them. They've spent billions of fucking dollars. They're long overdue. Why? Because in 2016, when we had a chance to get de Blasio to say yes to close Rikers and to close it within a year or two, advocates decided they would trade all the momentum, all the energy, all the resources, all the time, all the blood, all the sweat, all the fucking tears for a chance to sit on the closed Rikers fucking task force. Fuck you. Fuck you. Like, government is where advocates go to fucking die. What's wrong with you? We could have gotten Rikers closed in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. There's so many times we could have closed it. Now you got a formerly incarcerated person there, and you know what my concern is? That people are going to be like, well, he's black. You know, it's not that easy to move in government when you're black. Well, he's formerly incarcerated. He can't really rock the boat. People are going to say that he's too radical. You know, I get it. I get it. He's tall, he's black. People are going to say he's angry. I hear it all. You only get one lifetime, folks. What the fuck is wrong with you? You only get one fucking lifetime to live in. So how many chances do you have to fucking change the world? And literally, how many chances do you get to fucking yell at the king, yell at the queen, and then wake up one day and be sitting on the fucking throne? He's sitting on the fucking throne. Let's see what the fuck he's going to do with it. But forgive me every time people reach out to me and text me and say, what do you think about Stanley? What do I think? I think I'd love to have a fucking beer with him. I'd love to go fishing with him. I'd love to have a slice of pizza with him. But if I was sitting on a back road in Wisconsin and 5 people were coming down the hill dressed in white fucking robes, that's not where I want to be with a guy like Stanley. I wish him well, and I wish y'all well. Have a great rest of the weekend. Happy Saturday morning rant.